How you doing, everyone? Welcome to Alt Cine, and today we're finally going to release the Blackmagic Phase 1 or Expansion Pack as it's truly called.
Alt Cine.
We are massive fans of Blackmagic cameras, and I'm not sure how long you've been watching this channel for, but I've been using Blackmagic cameras for a long time and I've owned a lot of Blackmagic cameras. The one thing that really grates me about Blackmagic is the design, and the design is probably the only bad thing about their cameras, because each camera I personally think is really bad designed. Now, I've used a lot of different cameras over the past few years for all my client work, personal work, all sorts of stuff, and I would say that Blackmagic is the one that gave me the most hassle out of all of them in terms of rigging, gimbal work, battery life. Blackmagic was the worst. Since I've given up cinematography now and being a DP, I sold all of my expensive cameras and I was on a lookout for a really cheap cinema camera that, punched well above its weight. So on the lookout for the most amazing camera for the cheapest price. The only one I could find really was the Blackmagic Micro. Now, I've owned this camera before. I've owned a Micro before, and there was a lot of stuff I hated about the Micro. I hated, the fact that they called it a cinema camera. It wasn't really a cinema camera. Yes, the image was fantastic, but controlling this thing, rigging it, just a whole host of problems. But the main problem which I hated was the controls, the front button controls, because they are just absolutely awful in my opinion. Now, I know a lot of people will, get the studio camera, they'll throw it on a drone or they'll have it in a studio, obviously what it's made for, and they will control it with an atom switcher. But if you need to do any controls using the front button, it is just mad, because you lose your way. Because they're so flat, you kind of lose your way and you have to keep looking back, and it's just a pain really to use. And although the size is amazing, the fact that this is called a cinema camera is very hard to use as one. So that was the goal of the first mod, the Phase 1 expansion pack, was to turn this into something better, easier to control, and just fix every single flaw that it had. Now, a lot of people say that it's not about the camera, how it looks, it's all about the end result, and the end result is important, but I do not agree at all with the looks of the camera don't matter. It matters more than anything. In this era where we're fighting for clients, we need to be at the top of our game. You never get a second chance to make a first impression, so your first impression has to be amazing. Now, if two guys have got equally as good footage, but one guy's got a really basic, cheap, ugly setup, and then another guy's got an amazing rig, that's all rigged out nicely, who do you think the client is going to go for? They're going to choose the guy that presents himself the best. Even when you walk into the room, before you've opened your mouth, your camera should do the talking for you, that it says, look, my owner is a serious guy. When we was at the BSC last year, the British Society of Cinematographers, and you got all the key players there, Arri, Red, Canon, Lumix, the CVP were there, everyone was there, it was crazy. And every booth I went to was mad, because I took the M Lite with me, and I'm talking to these people that own these mad, $1 million companies with all of this amazing technology. I'm talking to them, and about 2 minutes into the conversation, they would switch it over to the M Lite, and I'm thinking, this is crazy, because they're asking me, what is it? What does it do? How did you get this idea? It looks amazing, all that kind of stuff. It was just absolutely insane. Even people that own rental houses were stopping me, asking me, can I have a look at it, taking videos of it and posting it to their Instagram. CVP, they were all waiting for me to finish talking to other people so they could come over and ask me. And now this is CVP, who handle all of these top end cameras, like waiting for me to talk to me about their M Lite was just absolutely amazing.
You missed it? I made this, yeah, so it's good shape. Yeah. You get like
But the funniest thing was seeing Tilta and seeing them like saying if they can take some pictures with my M Lite, and moving these red V Raptors and all these $80,000 setups to the side and then putting the M Lite in the middle and taking pictures. It was absolutely insane. So what I'm trying to say is, you really do want a camera that does exceptional footage, but you also want to make yourself stand out from the crowd. And because of that, I would say looks are very important, because they will get you through the door and get you a good reputation and get your client to take you very seriously. But what we're going to do today is show that you don't need to spend a whole bag of money on that, okay? What I have here is the Blackmagic Micro cinema camera, and it's rigged out in all its alt cine glory. Okay, we've got the DIY monitor on there, we've got a part of the expansion back because there's more to go. We've got a roll cage on the front. There's so much stuff going on here that there's too much to put into one video. So we're going to have to split this into 3 videos, okay? So the 3 videos that we're going to split them up into is first this one here, which is the expansion back and the buttons, because those are 2 things that I really wanted to solve first: the controls of the camera and how to rig it without buying an expensive cage. The second video will be about the OLPF filter, because OLPF filters are very expensive as well, around £350 I believe, £350 or euros, which is too expensive for a camera that I only paid £300 for. And then lastly will be the roll cage and the wing grip. Small rig are actually doing the wing grip now, and we're going to be doing the roll cage. So I'm just testing a 3D printed version at the moment. Okay, so let's look at the first iteration of the expansion back, which is this one here. Now, this is the most basic one that I made first, just as a concept to see if it would work. Now, this one, you can see the battery space there, and this one only holds onto the battery via friction. So there wasn't the side bits all around, it was just pure friction. And it worked really well. It allowed me to test it to see if it's something that I liked. I put some SD card slots in here. I put a 18650 battery in here, power bank, all that kind of stuff, and it worked really well. But as you can see, it's ghetto, but it was good as a concept. So I realized that I didn't really need the power bank or anything like that. So it was time to take this to the next stage. Simon from Alt Cine then had some ideas about squaring off, the back and chamfering the edges and doing a few bits and pieces. He moved the SD card slots from the top and then put them in this little cover in the back. So that cover comes out and then you can put some SD cards in there. And then he also had this genius design of making these clips in the side here. I don't think you can see them really. I'll try and get a bit closer. There's some clips here. Now, what these clips do is when you've got your LP6 battery, when you slide it in, it locks into the battery. So now your battery is locked inside. And then when you put this onto the back of your Blackmagic Micro G1 or G2, because all of this meets the side of the body, all around the side, it takes a lot of pressure off of the battery, and there's no way that this can go left or right. So it made it a lot more sturdy, and just because of those few changes, you can now put more weight on the back. So this was the second iteration. So yeah, it was good, it was working well. I really liked this one, but it still needed to be refined. So me and Simon was talking again, and we're talking every day at this point, and then we came up with this design here. So Simon said, what about if we make the back mimic the front? And obviously that's just an amazing idea. So we started to do that and then put in the vents and all that kind of stuff and all of the, the parts at the back. And yeah, this was actually my favorite design, absolutely amazing. And this is the one we decided to go with. So once we were happy with this one, we then passed it on to Tom at Filmatura, because Tom, when it comes to the final touches, the piece de resistance, you cannot beat Tom in the way he designs things. Simon is very smart in terms of how to make things connect and to work well and to build things electronically. He is a genius. But Tom is the one that, that finished it off, that made it into something special, which is this version here. So actually, let me keep this one here. So what we did here is, you can see, if you look at the backs, that the back now is flat. Yeah, but we kept a little design on there. Now, the reason why it's flat is because when you put your NPF plate on the back, we found that these ridges, they block some of the DC ports and the USB-C ports and stuff. So we had to make this flat and put it down here. Then also, if someone's using like a V-mount plate or something like that, we didn't want to obstruct, anything by putting a bigger V-mount plate or whatever. So having it flat just made a lot more sense. We also had the port on the side as well. This little space here is so you can put customized panels on there, and I'm going to show you those panels in a second. But Tom had the smarts to make a little groove in here where the ports can lock in. We didn't have that on our one. We just locked them in via screws. But Tom made this little design here for the port, so it would work well. So I think I can get rid of this one now. Then on the other side, you can see we've got this little screw hole here. I'm going to try and get in a bit closer and see if this thing will focus. And then you can just about see an Allen key screw in there. Now, what we was finding is with different types of batteries, the thickness what you have would be very different. It varied a lot. So the Canon ones were obviously, they feel a lot better. They feel stronger. The plastic is a little bit thinner, but it still feels a lot more robust than the third party ones, which you can see here. And then the dummy battery is just horrible. This is a cheap one. I've tried a couple of these now, and this is a really cheap one, and it's really thick, the plastic. So we found that the Canon one was better, but the third party one was a bit thicker. So what we had to do is, when you've got the battery slot here, we had to make this slightly wider so it could accommodate the Canon battery and the third party battery. Now, because of the difference in thickness, you might just be able to see this little lever here, right in the corner there. Let me see if I can get a bit closer. You can just see that lever right there. Now, the screw actually pushes that lever in. So if you've got a slimmer Canon battery, if you're using originals, then you can just slide the battery in, and then you can adjust the tolerance just with an Allen key. Just put the Allen key inside and adjust the tolerance until it feels fairly strong, where it won't just come out easily, but it feels, tight enough to hold, a decent bit of weight. Then if you've got a thicker battery, you can put the thicker battery in and just loosen the tolerance a bit. So once you've done all that, and then you've got your back, you can then just slide your back on to your micro camera. And then now you've got a nice little cube camera you've got mounting points on the top, on both sides. There, you've got two on the back, and another one on the bottom. If you're using like a dummy battery, because when you plug this in, obviously the cable is going to be coming out of the top, yeah? And then you can just get anything like a cold shoe or something like that just to lock the battery in. That's if you're using a dummy battery. If you're using a normal LP6 battery, I wouldn't suggest locking this in. But if you're using a dummy battery and you've got like a V-mount plate on the back or something like that, then I would suggest locking this down. Or even if you've got like a small NATO rail, you can just put one of these on as well and use that to lock it down. There's a couple ways you can lock it down. I didn't want to make anything special to lock this down, so you have to buy another part, because I assume that a lot of people are going to have, cold shoes and stuff like that. So it's easier if people can just use what they already have. But also, you can also lock it from the bottom. So if you're putting a tripod plate on the bottom, you can just run a long tripod plate right from the front to the back, and then that will lock the whole thing in as well. I don't use any of that. I don't lock anything. Even on my V-mount and MPF, I don't lock anything. It feels nice and sturdy for me. So yeah, that is the most basic form of the expansion pack. So I spoke about V-mounts and stuff like that. Let me take this one off quickly. I'm glad to see this is not coming off so easy, so you know how how good it is. I've got one already rigged out here, so you can see this model here. Let me just get rid of these batteries quickly. We've got this model here, which has got the NPF plate on the back, and it's got some custom Blackmagic panels on the side as well. And then we've got this here, what we call a mic deck. So this is just a little piece which goes onto the back of the expansion pack. You put it on to the expansion back like this. It's perfectly contoured to fit on the expansion back. We've got some screws here, and these are etched. There's a design on there. It's actually got the Alt Cine and Filmatura logo. That drops into the top, and then you can put your mics and stuff on there as well. So with all of that together, you would have something like this, and then you can just drop your mic in the top, and then you're ready to go. A full pack ready to go, which can be taken off your camera in seconds. So let me just show you how that all clips together. And it's as simple as that. You've got mounting holes left and right for your SSDs or for your mics or cold shoes and stuff like that. You've got a cold shoe mic at the top. You've got MPF plate on the back. It's so easy to put this whole thing together. It's just crazy. So let me just come back to the main view now. So I can literally just shake this around and that is not going to move. It can't move left and right because there's no space for it to move left and right. So it feels extremely solid on your camera. And if I go back to my other rig, you can see my other rig here, which is completely rigged out. And then with my V-mount on the back, I can then just slide this up and then put a V-mount on as well. Insane, beastly little rig. So if you've got a rig rigged out like this and you've got all these parts on and then you say, right, I want to go from like handheld tripod or whatever back to studio, you've got a little slim arm that you want to put it on, then you just literally can take off your mic, slide off the whole rear pack. Let me take that off. And then you're ready to go with just a nice small camera to change it in seconds. Absolutely amazing. So I want to show you now the panels. So we've got the Filmatura panel here. This one is made of metal. It's a laser engraved alt cine. We've got X-Men 97. If you know, you know. We've got an alt cine logo. We've got an A cam, a B cam, and a Blackmagic one. Now, the X-Men and the Blackmagic, that's not something that obviously you would get from us. This is something that you could print yourself because we're going to supply the template, the STL for this, so you can make your own ones. But if you do want to get anything engraved or a special printed one, Tom will be offering a service for a few bucks where you can get your own custom panels. So yeah, so once you've got your kit set up, then you just choose which panel you want. Then you've got your B cam in there. So if you've got a fleet of these, people will know which cam is which. And then obviously I've got Blackmagic on this side. If I want to take it off, just a little flathead screwdriver, pop it off, and then we'll put in let's go with Tom's logo, the Filmatura logo, and then you've got Filmatura on there as well. And then I just want to show you the metal one as well, because I think the aluminium one, yeah, it's just really nice. So yeah, if you want to go for a more premium look, then yeah, this is the brushed metal one, the laser engraved, sorry, not brushed metal, laser engraved one. So yeah, that's it, fantastic. Turn on your power from here, ready to plug into your dummy battery, and you're ready to go. So as I said, the dummy batteries, where are you, dummy battery? Where's that cheap piece of rubbish? So this is the dummy battery, one of the cheaper ones I got from Amazon. So yeah, if you get a dummy battery, hopefully you can, you know, afford a bit better than this one, because these are really tight to go in. And yeah, it's yeah, just get yourself a good dummy battery, because these cheap ones are just a pain in the ass. Yeah, but I want to show you this how it goes in though, because I think it will be good to see how it actually fits in. And there you go. That's the dummy battery inside the case there. Yeah, and then you will just run the cables back into your MPF plate. So yeah, that's it. That is that part all done. So that's the expansion pack, the body, how it's going to trick out your camera and allow you to, you know, go from studio cam to drone cam to on a tripod literally in seconds, as long as you don't lock it in. And yeah, I would really love to know what you guys think of that. Now we're going to get on to the piece de resistance, in my opinion, which is the buttons. These are the buttons here. This is so small. I don't even know if the camera can focus on this. Little tiny buttons. These buttons will fit onto the front of your Blackmagic Micro, just here, yeah? You can see I've got them stuck on just here. Now we thought about the design. We thought about, you know, making a clip. We made a clip version that clips round on the camera. We done so many different types of, you know, designs and come up with different ideas. But we thought that in the end, the best thing to do was just to get a couple bits of 3M tape and stick them onto the buttons. You don't stick it across the whole rear part of the buttons, not across the whole back, just one little strip at the top and one little strip at the bottom. And what that does is it actually separates the buttons for you. Before, where it's all flat and you can't really feel what you're doing, that's where you kind of make the mistakes. But by raising those two buttons and it separates the top button from the menu button, it just makes everything easier. Now, I'm going to say that this is the only camera that you can control without even looking. You don't even need to see the buttons. You don't need to know where they are because your finger will do it all. So after about 20 minutes of using it, you're going to become like a genius with this. So let me just show you exactly how it works, okay? Right, so hopefully you can see that. So at the moment, I am on ISO 1600. So I'm going to change my ISO now. Let me just get this centered up. I'm going to change my ISO now. And all of you guys that own Blackmagic Micros, you know that it's impossible to change your ISO with such precision. So I'm going to go menu, enter, come down to ISO, enter. Let's go to 200. What am I on? 200 there? Yeah, 200, 400, 800, and then come back out. It's as simple as that. Changing your settings now is like a dream. I do not need to look at the buttons. I do not need to know where anything is. I can do it all just by touch. So just show you again, ISO, menu, camera, come down, go to ISO, up. Let's go to 200 ISO and come back out again. So you guys can imagine now how easy it is to change your camera. It's as easy as any other camera that you have used on the market now. And the fact that you don't even need to look at the buttons anymore, that is, in my opinion, bigger than what you do already. Maybe on your P4K or your Sony where you have to look. Now you don't have to look. So if I wanted to say format the memory card, menu, come over to setup, go in there, come down to memory card, and I can just format straight from there. So that is the expansion pack buttons right there. And yeah, to me, this is amazing. And as I said, we didn't really want to make it a big deal, like, so people have to, you know, do some funny prints or whatever, or try to find inventive ways to put them on. 3M tape, like what I've got on mine. It's been on there for about 4 weeks now. Greasy fingers, oily fingers, sweat, a good quality 3M tape. Slap that on there, you're ready to go. It's not going to come off, and it is absolutely amazing. I think that's it for the first one. I really hope you enjoyed what you've seen here, you know, with the expansion pack. I really love it. This was created for me, you know, to turn this camera into something new. And I'm just glad to be able to share it with everyone, and I hope you really like it too. So let's get down to pricing. Okay, when you buy the expansion pack, you will get the expansion pack rear, you will get the mic deck, and you will get a set of buttons as well. And all of those will come with a couple of screws for the mic deck and for anything else that you have. All that stuff, that expansion pack there is going to cost you $59. Okay, simple as that, straightforward, $59. If you buy it, do not over tighten any of the nuts, bolts, screws, you know, tension screws, whatever. You don't need to over tighten anything. Just do it up until it's reasonably tight and you're good to go. $59 and you get all of that. And it comes with a couple of panels as well. So you'll be getting 2 Alt-Cine and 2 Filmatura logos with that to go with it. If you want any other ones, as I said, you know, you can order them from Tom. If you want metal, he will engrave them for you, or your own personal logo, he will engrave them for you. If you go to the Alt-Cine website, which is linked below, you can download the STL for the buttons for free. So if you don't want none of the expansion back or anything like that, you just want the buttons. If you only put yours on a drone or whatever, go to the Alt-Cine page, you can download the STL for free. And also with the plates, that will be linked on the Alt-Cine website as well. Now I must stress that none of that stuff is to be sold or remixed. You know, we've got disclaimers on there, and if we find out anyone is selling those buttons or the caps or anything like that, I will come after you. I'm telling you, I'll come after you with some South London ghetto style. I'll be on your doorstep. I'll find you. I know where you live, you know.
Where does he live? Posh part of Croydon. Drop the rope. There is no posh part of Croydon.
No joke. But anyway, please don't. You know, this stuff, even though what you've seen here might seem a bit small to you and insignificant, there's a lot of money that we had to spend on the bodies just to make this, the hours that we've put in to make this work perfectly. So please don't rip us off, man. It's not cool, man. And, you know, we do want to carry on doing this stuff but it's just very expensive. So we have got donation parts on the page on the website as well. So if anyone wants to, even if you don't want to buy anything, you just love to see us continue and innovating, moving on to the phase 2, the Neo, the phase 3, the Pi Cam. All of this stuff takes an incredible amount of money. So if you just want to buy us a coffee, a little donation goes so far. We would really, really appreciate that. I'm not really the kind of person that likes to say, you know, oh, please subscribe or donate or anything like that, or Patreon. I'm not really into that. But in the last month, on the rear already, just the back and all the bits that go with it, the OLPF filter that we're bringing out, the cages, I think I've spent about 2,000, I think it's coming up to about 2,500, 2,600 now. It's not cheap, brothers. I'm telling you, man, this game is not cheap, but I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. But if me and Simon could get some support for that, that would be absolutely amazing. The last thing I'm going to say is that I'm going to be doing a video soon whilst the filter's getting ready, the OLPF filter. I want to talk about my build of my Blackmagic Micro and why I use it, and also I want to show you the lenses that I bought and just do like a comprehensive kind of, not deep look at these, but you're going to see these a lot now in my videos. The SLR Magic, I bought these, cost me a little bit of money. They're budget, but they still cost me. But in my opinion, yeah, these SLR Magic Micro Primes, man, and the Hyper Primes, woo, I absolutely love these. So yeah, that's going to be probably my next video. I'm going to try and get this out next week, actually. So yeah, that is it. Too much rambling. I hope that's all good though. I hope you're okay with my rambling. Really excited about this. I feel really good, positive. Everything's going exactly how it's supposed to go. So finally, I just want to say, you guys in the comment section, but most importantly, you guys in the community section, you guys are absolutely amazing, man. Every week, every post I do, I see you there guiding me, giving me valuable information, and I'm just so grateful for everything that you do in there. You know, it's a really good time. Things are really happy. Things are really positive. I feel like it's a little family of people just, you know, helping me and just want me to succeed. And I really thank you for that. So yeah, I'll see you on the SLR Magic video, and then mid-March, it will be the OLPF will be the next one. And that will be an amazing thing to see. So yeah, guys, take care, and I'll see you on the next one later.